The speaking bitterness task we got set was quite interesting because it allowed us to explore forced entertainment style while having their script, but being able to choose whatever we like to do with it. We mainly chose to start off the way that they started off, which was all in a line, like with a table of loads of different paper, and they were just picking it up, reading it, and then putting it back down. So we started off going in the actual order of the script and saying them one by one. But we decided that we wouldn't choose who would go next and who would say what. We chose the first person so we wouldn't be waiting for ages for someone to speak. But after that, nothing was particularly decided on except for a few little bits in the middle. So anyone would go at any time, which also meant that you'd have people overlapping voices, which kind of shows forced entertainment style in which nothing's really decided on. It's all very organised chaos in a way, in the fact that that isn't normal theatre. You wouldn't normally have people randomly going over the top and maybe showing the emotions and the facial expressions of someone that's accidentally butt in at the wrong time. Or maybe the awkwardness if they started speaking at the same time. After the first few lines, we then decided to just choose any random bits of the story we wanted. We had one person always read the same section because it was about Captain Hook and the story of him losing his hand. So we thought that would be quite funny to add in to see if the audience would notice it. And then we had one person act really confused because we started all speaking over the top of each other in very much organised chaos, because we all knew who was going to start it and who was going to stop it, because it was stopped by someone saying a certain line, and we all knew to stop at that exact moment, and then a little scene would enact in which no one would particularly speak, and then we'd go again in normal fashion. And then we'd have this again when someone said a certain line, everyone would be quiet, allowed that to sink in, and then started again. To begin with, we had me and Marlon sat on the chairs and no one having the pieces of paper. And then people would slowly filter in, hand the pieces of paper out, potentially swap them if they got given the wrong one. And then in the piece, you might also swap the scripts if you if you wanted to swap them to add to the feeling of kind of non-theatre-y style. The way we ended it, we just decided to walk off whenever we really felt like it. So we'd always wait till a certain line until someone would walk off, but then after that, you just said whatever you wanted to, whenever you wanted to, and then walked off when you felt like it, to make it seem more real in a sense, and would allow the audience to think that what they're seeing isn't rehearsed and isn't practiced at all, and it's just what's happening in real time and nothing's really decided on. We thought this fit forced entertainment style because they seem to be very much about organised chaos and no one really knowing what's going on, and it allows the audience to, and they allow the audience to wonder whether something is real or not. We think it worked fairly well because people were saying that certain lines stood out in which we wanted them to, especially because the whole point of speaking bitterness is that there are truths moulded in with lies. Sometimes there's very light-hearted lines, but then sometimes there are very dark lines saying they confess to murder and stuff like that. And the audience said that they found that quite interesting, the fact that they were blended on top of each other, and every so often you'd be able to pick out a certain line that they'd either be able to be quite happy about, or sometimes they'd pick out a line that would be a bit hard to hear and a bit scary in a way. So we thought we did that piece fairly well.